The PJ Fleck Show is presented by Window Concepts and Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union.
Our how is everything. How you do something matters. Culture, how, next on mentality. That better be first.
The PJ Fleck Show starts now.
Hi, everyone, and welcome into the PJ Fleck Show, joined as always, by the head coach of Gopher football, PJ Fleck, alongside former Gophers wide receiver Ron Johnson and KFAN's Justin Gaard. I'm Pierre Noujaim.
And that's Anthony Smith sitting on the ground.
Who we will see in just a few moments. Anthony Smith is going to be joining us later in the show. But first things first, Ohio State got the best of Minnesota in Columbus over the weekend. PJ, when you look back on the film of this game, things obviously didn't go your way, but what was the most difficult part about trying to establish a rhythm and counteract what Ohio State was trying to do?
Well, they're really good. I thought our open possession, we did really well of dissecting their defense. They played a lot of zone coverage. I thought we were able to pick it apart. They made some adjustments, went to man coverage, put a lot of people in the box, continued to change different fronts, and we struggled to perform for that or past that. And then defensively, we couldn't get away from the explosive plays happening. And they're a really good explosive team. They got first-round wideouts all over the place, got a really good offensive line, really good quarterback, tight ends, running backs. You keep it in front of you, they take advantage of it like that play. You come up on them, they'd run right by you. So, but when I looked at the film, I wanted to sit there and say, okay, our guys didn't play hard, our guys didn't do this, our guys didn't do that, we didn't scheme it up right. We just flat out got beat. And I told our guys at the end, sometimes you get in a fight and you literally just get beat up, and we got beat. And sometimes you got to swallow that pill. I'm very transparent and honest with our players, and that's what it came down to. I don't question their effort, never question that. They played their tail ends off and their hearts out. That's all I could ask as being their head coach. But it didn't go our way. And so there's a lot of things we did well from the game, which we'll focus on, and go make even better. And then there's things that we didn't do well, which we have to be able to fix and make better before Saturday.
Yeah, and football is about momentum. When you think about the first drive, settle for a field goal, is there anything you looked that you said, hey, this is what we probably could have done to get in the end zone?
I mean, execute the plays that are called maybe a little bit better, but you got to give them credit. I think what happens is you focus just on yourself so much, and you can get really frustrated when you play a team like that because they are very good at every single position. They're very deep at every single position, and they create a lot of havoc on their defense by switching fronts, switching coverages constantly. You never saw it back-to-back or never saw it within the same drive, the same type of coverage or front. But I thought we moved down the field. I think Drake was 7 for 7 on his first 7 throws. We go right down the field. I thought guys made a tremendous amount of plays. The game just got away from us really quickly after 4 possessions. And unfortunately, that changes a lot of things you do.
Darius Taylor was back on a bit of a pitch count, so kind of take us through what the plan was for him on Saturday and how he came out.
Yeah, the medical staff has what they call work output, and we have these catapult data machines that are attached to all of our players throughout the game, and they wear them, and it tells us all the information we need to know, from speed to workloads to all these different things. It's all scientific and data, but he was on a pitch count, and we were going to be able to probably get him for about a half a game. So we were either going to spread that out over 4 quarters or kind of depending on how the game went, get a lot of the work done in the first half, which is what we ultimately decided to do. And by the third quarter, score was where it was, and we got Darius out of there. But he did a tremendous job getting game reps. It's good to have him back on the field, and hopefully we'll be able to get some more as we go forward.
I was just about to say, do you anticipate him being on a snap count again this weekend?
It depends what our medical staff has to say. I mean, I don't make those decisions. I think a lot of people just think head coach makes all the medical decisions. I don't make any of the medical decisions. That's what's great about being the head coach. You have a whole department over there that makes all those health, safety, and well-being of our players, takes that into consideration, and then makes the calls for them. So our guys are competitors. He's a competitor, and when he's 100% healthy, we'll get the 100% healthy back.
You pointed out a little earlier in the show about the explosive plays that was given up against Ohio State. We saw something similar against Cal. Is it a matter of not getting enough pressure? Is it blown assignments in the defensive backfield? Is it a combination of both? How would you assess in terms of the explosive plays given up in the pass game?
I think both. I don't necessarily think it's busts. We're not having people run scot-free down the field. We either miss a tackle, take a bad angle. You got to give them credit because they have really explosive playmakers. At the Cal game, it was more of a second play, and the kid made some unbelievable throws in some really tight windows. We had some good coverage on a few balls that they were able to go. This is not one of them. Just in case everybody's like, that's not very good coverage. I know that was not, but it wasn't a bust coverage. He just ran right by our defender. And times you can keep the top on the defense, and they ran the ball at almost 8 yards a clip. So you got to give them credit.
Sure.
If I sit there and say it was just us, I'm not giving them enough credit. And I think that a lot of coaches just kind of get self-absorbed about just their own team, and that's it, and we didn't do this, so now I'm mad. I know what kind of team we were facing. I know what type of ability they had, how much depth they had, and Ohio State played as all close to perfect as you can play. They didn't turn the ball over, but we didn't turn the ball over. We only had 2 penalties. We played really disciplined football. We only gave up 1 sack. So out of maybe the best front 7 in football, we held our own, switched some offensive line around. There's a lot of positives to draw from it. Unfortunately, the score's not one of them.
And when you look at Drake Lindsey's performance, how do you assess that?
Well, I thought he played really outstanding. And when you kind of peel back the onion and you look at the first drive, we weren't able to create enough separation for him when we got man coverage with their DBs. We weren't able to protect enough. The ball had to come out. But I thought that first drive was exactly what he does and how good he is at dissecting a defense, getting the ball out of his hand. But I think that they made us one-dimensional. We only had the ball for 3 minutes in the third quarter. And again, the score got away from us.
And as a receiver, I mean, you know that you played it. When you talk to your receivers, I know Matt Simon did as well, when they watch that film and you make that comment, not enough separation, or maybe, hey, you should have done this on this route, you gave it away. How do you guys teach them to learn from that? Like, don't give it away.
Well, there's always a reason. You know, if you're not creating separation, there's a reason, as you know. There's people who don't run really fast that can create a lot of separation. So it's the fundamentals, technique, and skill sets that we teach them that sometimes when we get into a game, some of our guys are abandoning that technique and fundamentals that is going to allow you to create separation at the top of your break point, whether that's angles on releases or whether that's release points or separational skills at the top of the break point. And they've got to be able to trust that. And when we do trust that, we'll be able to create some more separation. Sometimes we did, and we created separation. Sometimes we didn't. But again, you got to give them credit too. They're a really good football team.
Kicking's one of those weird things where you might not miss a kick for a year, then you might not make one for like 2 or 3 weeks. So
I think the Kansas City Chiefs are calling for what's his name?
Bucker.
Yeah, he was phenomenal last
crazy.
year, right? And all of a sudden, here we go.
Sometimes the Skycam cable comes down and deflects the kick, and you have no idea, right? So watch the Skycam operator this weekend, first of all.
But didn't people see the trajectory of that changed very fast?
It did look odd.
Either ghosts were like pushing it over there, or it was on a string, or it hit something.
The Ghost of London,
Pretty amazing.
I know, it was.
But nobody
was
thought that
watching.
ball was just naturally goes perfectly straight and goes whoosh.
Immediate right turn.
It's unbelievable.
Including the
Immediate
NFL
right turn.
officiating crew.
Yeah, nobody saw it. So
Sneaky blinders, they have money on the game.
Sneaky. Ooh,
I
nice.
like that.
Oh, nice. You've been to
Yeah,
London.
see?
I like that.
There it is.
Very nice.
I bring it all up because Brady's kind of struggled at times this year, and I know you see him every day in practice, and Coach Ligg had him at Syracuse and everything. So how do you kind of handle the kicking situation when you do have the misses in the game, which probably don't square up with what you're seeing?
Yeah, I mean, we've made some really good kicks and some big kicks this year, and then we've missed some. If you're looking for 100% perfect, I think you're not realistic. You know, you got to live in the realistic world, not necessarily the ideal or perfect world. But Brady's kicked a lot in college football, and he's very mature about what he has to do to get better. And I thought he had one really good kick and then one kick that he pushed to the right. So it's part of the kicking job, and you got to work through those challenges with them every single week. It's more of the mental part than just the physical part. Right? I mean, if you're a centimeter off here and there, it's a difference between it being good and bad. So you're talking about it's a game of inches. Kicking's a game of centimeters, and he's got a really good attitude. We got 2 really good kickers right now, with Daniel Jackson being the young kicker, the freshman that we have, who people saw earlier in the year when we were up by a lot. But again, it's always competition going back and forth, and it's one of those jobs that you really kind of only really notice when people miss. It's kind of like the long snapper. So, but it's the whole operation. It's the snapping, it's the holding, it's the kicking that all goes into the ball going through the uprights.
You mentioned the effort was there, the discipline was there. So what do you say to the team really after a game like that, even though the score wasn't in your favor the way it was, but in terms of how you played, what do you say to the team in terms of keeping the confidence there and moving forward?
Yeah, you got beat. You got beat, you got to fight, and that person beat you up. I don't know if you've ever been in a fight, Pierre.
I can't have my face hit. That affects my career. So.
But in a fight, I mean, it's a zero-sum game. UFC, right? We showed him the Pereira fight from UFC this past weekend. In the first fight, he gets beat, right? He gets beat 5 rounds, but gets beat, loses his belt. Comes back, that was in March. Comes back in October and knocks the guy out in a minute and a half with flying elbows and ground elbows. Just getting your elbow drilled in the back of your head into your temple about 80 times in a row. Sometimes you get beat. Sometimes you get beat up. Sometimes you do the beating. That's football. And unfortunately, we got beat. And I'm very transparent with our team.
Sure.
Discipline, the fundamentals, the technique, love the game plan, but we got beat. And you got to be able to lick your wounds and go respond. That's football. And unfortunately, they're a really good football team. They played really well. We played disciplined, and it wasn't enough.
Hey, Pierre, please don't get into a fight. We do
I
not need to
listen,
bail you
the
out of
money
jail.
maker.
Listen, my Muay Thai training right now, is very slow, but it is going to get there at some point. I
I'm
promise
just saying.
you that. Yeah.
We know other people have gotten into fights and not been able to call games.
No,
so we
no.
don't need to lose you on the pregame
Oh, good
show.
point. That's
Yeah,
exactly
see,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anywhere
See?
but the
You
hair
don't
or
need-
face.
We can't
Ain't
call
the main
Brady
rules.
Quinn for Saturday.
No, well,
You're up.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
I heard on the radio you mentioned, and in your presser, 201 alumni have said they're coming. Rodney Smith, one of them. What can the alumni look forward to this weekend? And what is your favorite part?
I just love having the guys back. And one of my favorite parts of homecoming is looking at our former players, no matter what decade they're from. I think that was really important to us. When we first got here, we had 40 players come back for homecoming. Now we're over 200. You're looking at with their families. A lot of them have kids now. They have real jobs. Some of them are still playing in the NFL. It's really fun to see our players live out their dream, see them as human beings, see them as husbands, as fathers, as professionals. Some of them are in med school. Some of them are teachers. Some of them are chief marketing officers. I mean, there's a wide range and very eclectic group of what our guys are doing after football, but it's so great to see them in their life. I say all the time that I get paid to win, but I do the job because I love to teach and educate. And when you do that, you get all the guys back, and it's pretty impressive to see all those guys from all these decades. I mean, we're celebrating the 1960 team and Bobby Bell. Yeah. I mean, Bobby Bell just seems like he never ages.
The best.
He literally looks like he could still come off the edge and get a sack here and there. I promise, he probably could.
Well, speaking of getting sacks, we, as promised, coming up on the PJ Fleck Show, Anthony Smith is going to be joining us one-on-one when we come back. Stay with us for that conversation here on the PJ Fleck Show.
You're watching the PJ Fleck Show.
Welcome back into the PJ Fleck Show, everybody. As promised, there he is, the man, the myth, the legend, Anthony Smith, joining us here on the PJ Fleck Show. Anthony, let's talk about the season you're having so far. Last year, you had a career-high 6 sacks. So far, you've got 4.5 on the season. What has allowed you to have the type of start this year that you have had?
Just trust my game, just trusting the game plan. The coaches do the best thing for me in practice every single week, just preparing me, whether that's me playing inside or playing outside. And so, again, just my preparation, believing and trusting my coaches in the game plan, and then, again, just going on the field and just trusting my ability and my technique on the field.
And when you think about it as a player, like I know that feeling of losing a game, and it's like, I know I'm better than that. I know I can beat this team. But then you still have to learn from the film and move on to the next game and flush it down the toilet. But what did you learn from this game that you're like, you know what, this is, if I did everything I can do, here's what I need to do?
Just believe in my technique. That's what it comes down to. I had to be really honest with myself when it came to watching that film and just seeing what I need to get better at, and then what I need to get better at and applying that to the field. And, the intentionality, it all starts with the intentionality. Like when you have your Tuesday practice or your Wednesday practice, like when you get down your stance, like you're thinking about like, okay, I got to take this step rather than that step, because if I take the wrong step, it's going to mess my whole entire team up. So again, just having the intention when you go out to practice and changing your technique and doing your best.
PJ, obviously Anthony has all the physical tools in the world, but how have you seen him kind of put it all together on the field? Because it goes beyond just having physical tools, right? You have to have discipline, you have to have technique. How has he been able to put it all together?
Well, first of all, he's one of the best human beings you'll ever meet in your life. Second, he's a student of the game. He's always looking to get his game better and better and better, which you want from your best players. You want them to be the hardest workers on your football team, and he definitely is. And what I've loved is watching his development from, don't take this the wrong way, from a high school basketball player, broke numerous rims and collected them and put them in his room, but to this football player with this football mentality. And I'm really proud of him for that, because that's growth and that's development. And that's why you come to a true developmental life program, is because you know what you have to be able to do. You have a vision for your life. You know where you want to go. Then you got to get around the right people to help you get there. And he has to do all the work. We always talk about the players are the builders, but the coaches are the architects. And we're here to be able to give you that blueprint of what you say you want in your life. And it's one thing to say it, it's another thing to know it and go do it. And I think he does a great job of that.
And when you're looking at, you're about to face a quarterback who throws the ball around the field. Purdue has some weapons, but they also have a really good running back in Maccabee. When you're watching that film, I just heard you say that, like, I got to make sure I'm doing my job and not put my teammates in the wrong position. But when you know it's your time and you know you have man coverage, like when you see that, like what have you seen in Purdue that you're like, okay, this is when I know I can take over?
You know, I mean, they throw the ball a good bit, you know, and again, just trusting my technique. And when it's come time to pass rush, you know, I pass rush and make sure that I'm staying in my pass rush lanes and not, you don't got to do anything extra. I mean, we always talk about it, you know, when the plays comes to you, make your plays, you know. So again, when it's the right time for me to make my play, I just have to go make my play.
And we always joked about this years ago with PJ, when PJ first got here, about homecoming and players. Did you ever ask him about the dance?
He wasn't one.
Okay, this
You weren't one of them?
This is new to me.
No, he wasn't one of them that came in there. He's way smarter than that.
Yeah.
He understands that there's no dance in college. You know, young players used
Or
to come
did you
to me.
think that and not ask him? Did you think there was a college
Did you
dance?
think there was a college dance for homecoming like there is high school?
You know, definitely as like a freshman, I definitely
See, I told you, I'm not lying. He might not have been in there, but he thought of it. And that show, all the players come in, usually as young guys. So coach, like, do I ask a girl to the dance here coming up this Saturday? I'm like, what dance? There's no dance. Every day is a dance.
You could start this, a row the boat charity dance hosted by the football team. You guys rent out a hall, invite your dates,
idea, man,
sell
right
tickets.
here. Yeah.
Charity goes to the Minnesota Children's Hospital.
I love it. We'll have you be the executive director of that, Ron. Looks like you just bought yourself the board chair.
Yeah, you sure did.
Perfect.
Anthony, meanwhile, you know, when you look at where you're at right now, 3-2 after 5 games, you're a leader on this team now.
Mm-hmm.
How do you help guide some of these young guys and tell them, hey, listen, there's still a lot of football left. So much season still ahead of us. How do you view that in terms of your leadership role?
Yeah, again, I mean, like, you lose a game, you gotta swallow the pill, and you gotta be truthful with yourself and see what happened, what you did wrong in that game, whether it was your technique or whether you just didn't know the game plan that well. So again, just swallowing that pill and then moving on from that, you know, because it's a one-game championship every single week where you have to be 1-0. So again, going forward from that, you have to make sure you just have to take on what you didn't do right, and again, just move on from like the next.
All right, Anthony, we certainly appreciate your time. Best of luck, continued health and success the rest of the way. Great.
Why didn't you correct Pierre and tell him we're 0-0? He said we're 3-2. This guy.
That's true.
Very
That's
result-oriented guy over there.
well. I need
0-0 season.
During the
You'd
break.
take 3-2 right now for the Dolphins, wouldn't you?
For God's sake. During the commercial break, I'm going to change my best, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about more about this homecoming game this weekend as Purdue comes to town. Stay with us here on the PJ Fleck Show.
Welcome back to the PJ Fleck Show.
Welcome back into the PJ Fleck Show, everybody. Like we mentioned, it is homecoming weekend this weekend for the University of Minnesota as the Gophers welcome the Boilermakers and PJ while you guys are 0-0. Purdue is 2-3, but in their losses, they have been very competitive against some pretty good teams.
Really
what
good
have you
teams.
noticed about this year's Purdue team as opposed to the last couple of years?
Very explosive, can score at will. They run the football very effectively. They got multiple ways to run the football. They can throw to run it in the screen game and the short game, and then they're very, very explosive. They got 4 receivers that can change the game at any moment. And this quarterback, I mean, number 15, Brown, he's very, very talented. You know, he transferred in the offseason, I think, to North Carolina, then came right back. But he is really the heartbeat of their team, and they are playing some really, really good football teams that are made to score a lot of points. But their defense plays incredibly hard, playing a lot of different players. But the offense, I mean, they're putting up a lot of stats, a lot of yards, and a lot of numbers. And if they didn't turn the ball over a few other times, they're probably going to win some of those games.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Jeremiah Carter, by the way. He did just email me back that I am confirmed to come
202
down.
as of right
202 alumni will be there. I'm going to send a message out to a couple other guys.
Thanks for the late RSVP. I mean, no wonder you didn't invite him to your
thank
wedding.
you to you and PJ. I had totally forgot until I
Way to
heard
be
him
connected to
say
your alma mater.
201 players were coming. I was more focused on the job today.
Oh.
I wasn't thinking about homecoming.
That's
but
a first.
Hey, it's important. But Ryan Brown, great quarterback, you know, gets the ball. But how do you make sure to get the ball out of his hands when he doesn't want to let the ball go?
Well, they run a huge RPO system as well, so they do everything, whether it's drop back, screens, quick game, vertical game. They have everything in their offense. Offensive coordinator comes from USC, so think about what USC does with Lincoln Riley and just kind of be an extended version of that, but more Purdue version. We've got to be able to put pressure on them. We've got to be, if we're not going to get home, we've got to be able to tip the football, and then we got to be able to get to him and shrink that pocket the best we possibly can, because if you give Brown and you give him any type of lane, he'll take it. He might be one of the better throwers on the run that we've ever played here at the University of Minnesota. We thought the kid from Cal was really good on the run. I think he's even better.
Pierre severely questions Barry Odom's decision-making because he left Las Vegas willingly to go to West Lafayette, Indiana. And leaving Las Vegas for anywhere in Pierre's world, not smart, right?
It's always a sad day.
But the guy knows defense, right? He's a really good defensive coach. Their defense has been really stingy as well. What have you seen from them?
They create a lot of takeaways. They play relentlessly to the football. They play with incredible how. You can tell that they're all connected. He has done an unbelievable job of flipping that team and flipping that roster and getting them to play with a style that matches Barry's teams and Barry's defenses. And that's a credit. That's a sign of a really good football coach. Within 1 year of a lot of turnover, not a lot of time with your team, and being able to get them to play as hard as they do and as sound as they do is a credit to him and his staff.
Well, a reminder to everybody, once again, it is homecoming weekend. We hope you guys have a blast out there at homecoming weekend as Minnesota welcomes the University of Purdue. For PJ Fleck, Ron Johnson, Justin Gaard, I'm Pierre Noujaim. Our thanks to Anthony Smith as well. One heck of a a guy.
I'll be in the end zone with pom-poms.
What do you call it?
See you
First
at
guy
the
off
dance.
the bus, right?
He's the first guy off the bus. Yes.
Yes.
He is a Greek. He's built like a Greek guy.
He certainly is. We could all
Thor.
dream.
So few of us.
Thor.
Yeah.
So few of us out there.
We can't understand. Take some Muay Thai classes, everybody. It's a dangerous world out there. Stay safe. We'll see you next week for the PJ Fleck Show.